This is the Energy Shift Show podcast, where we talk about spirituality and how to live your best life today. All it takes is a shift in perception. Hello, beautiful souls. Deb here, and I'm so excited you're joining me for today's show. As CEO of the Harmonic Sovereignty Studio, my goal with the podcast is to motivate you by sharing insights and also take you along as I speak to knowledgeable people that I have found inspiring to me throughout my years as an energy medicine practitioner and intuitive guide. I cover topics that I'm passionate about, all things under my 3 pillars of attune, anchor, and amplify. Attune into your energy and your inner wisdom to gain clarity on what truly matters for your passion in life and your well-being. Anchoring grounds your insights with practical tools and daily rituals that support sustainable, soul-aligned growth. And amplifying, well, that elevates your impact and vitality by expanding your energy, sharing your gift, and creating lasting change from a place of alignment. Now listen up for this exciting episode to begin. I will read the disclaimer. This podcast and the topics discussed stem from my own curiosity and desire to learn and should never be taken as direct medical advice. I am not a doctor, dietitian, nor any other medical professional. Please always consult your trusted provider regarding your health and your wellness. Hello, welcome back to the Energy Shift Show. I'm Debbie Sodergren. Since I told you the truth about August, a lot of you have taken the mini assessment. And a few of you had wrote to me with almost the exact same question. Today, in our episode, we're going to talk about what it is for being the mirror and it not being a verdict. So, the question was, it wasn't, what do I do with this information? It was more like, is it bad that this is what came up for me? And I've heard that question enough times that I knew it deserved its own episode, not just a quick reply in your inbox. So today, that's what we're talking about. What your result actually means. And just as importantly, what it doesn't. Before we get into it, I want to say thank you for how many of you took the time to actually write back and reach out. That's not something that I take lightly. It tells me this arc is landing the way I hoped it would, honestly and without pressure. Here's the first thing that I want you to hear. And I want it to actually land for you, sink in, have you ponder it. The assessment is a mirror. It is not a verdict. A mirror doesn't judge what it shows you. It doesn't rank you. It doesn't compare you to anyone else who's ever taken it. It just shows you. It gives you information. What you do with what you see is a completely separate step. And it's yours to take in your own time. I say this because I know exactly what it feels like to see something honest about your own business and immediately want to fix it, prove it wrong, or explain it away. That instinct is completely human. None of those reactions are necessary. Attunement isn't a one-time event. It's a practice. Let me say that again. Attunement is not a one-time event. It's a practice. You don't attune once and then move on to anchor forever. You come back to it again and again as your business changes, as you change, as the seasons of your life change. So if your result surprised you or unsettled you a little, that's not a sign that something is wrong. That's the mirror doing its job. There's a second thing worth naming because I've heard it from a few of you also. Sometimes the result feels too small, too obvious. I already knew that. A few of you have responded, almost apologetically. Like the result should have surprised you more to actually count. Here's what I'd offer back. Knowing something and actually attuning to it are two completely different things. You can know a fact about your business for years without ever letting it change how you actually operate. Most of us do exactly that with our most obvious truths. The assessment doesn't exist to tell you something you've never heard before. It exists to put it in front of you clearly enough, plainly enough, that you can't quietly file it away anymore. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You can't file it away the way that you filed it away every other time. There's one more pattern that I want to name because it might be the most important one of all. Some of you took the assessment and the result made you feel a little defensive. Not surprised, not dismissive, defensive. Like the mirror had somehow gotten it wrong for you, or it was being unfair to you, or it didn't understand the true context of everything that you're juggling right now. You were getting a little defensive. You were having like this struggle in your own consciousness with the assessment that gave you basically just information, confirmed a few things, brought it forward for some attention. I want to gently say something about that. Defensiveness is almost always a signal that something true just got close to something tender. It doesn't mean the mirror is wrong. It actually means the opposite. You don't have to act on that feeling today. You don't have to resolve it after listening to this episode. I just want you to notice it the way you've noticed the other signals, with curiosity instead of judgment. One woman who wrote to me, I'm going to call her Julia just for the sake of privacy, took the assessment expecting to see something about her pricing. Instead, her result pointed towards something about how she talks to her own team. Not her offer, not her marketing, her leadership frequency. The actual energy she was bringing into a room full of people who were looking to her for direction. Her first instinct was to dismiss it. That's not really my issue, she told herself. Then she sat with it for a week instead of arguing with it. She didn't hire anyone. She didn't restructure her business. But she did change one weekly meeting. She started it differently. She asked one honest question she'd been avoiding for months. That's it. One small shift. But she told me it was the first time in months that she left the meeting without feeling completely drained. Another listener wrote to me with almost the opposite experience. Her result named her pricing directly, something she genuinely never let herself consider changing. She didn't overhaul her rates overnight. She raised prices on exactly one offer, just to see how it felt. To actually charge what it was worth, it felt fine. It felt better than fine, actually. Two very different results. Two very different next steps. Neither one required a program, a purchase, or a big public commitment. Both of them small. Both of them enough. And I'll tell you about a third person because I think it matters just as much as the other two. A listener wrote to me and said that her result didn't point anywhere dramatic at all. It simply confirmed something she'd already quietly started doing, protecting one morning a week with no calls and no client work. She told me the assessment didn't teach her anything new. It just gave her permission to keep doing the one thing that was already working. That's a valid result too. Not every mirror reveals a leak. Sometimes it simply confirms that you're already doing the right thing. It gives you permission. Permission to trust that instead of second-guessing it. So here's my invitation to you today. And it splits two ways, depending on where you're actually starting from. If you haven't taken the assessment yet, go to harmonicsovereignty.com and take it. 5 minutes. No cost, no pitch waiting for you at the end. Just an honest look at where you are and where your own energy is actually leaking. And if you've already taken the assessment, here's your next step. Not a purchase, not a program, not a bigger commitment of any kind. Just this. Sit with your result for one more week. Notice where it shows up in your actual days, in the meetings that you dread, the emails you keep putting off, the reach outs you keep pushing off, the number you haven't said out loud to yourself yet. Change one small thing because of it. That's the whole practice. It always has been. I know it's tempting to want this to be something bigger, more earth-shattering, more aha. We're conditioned to think real change has to look dramatic to actually count. Guess what? It doesn't. Small, honest, repeated steps build a different business. One that is far more reliable than one big leap ever does for a business. So the mirror isn't asking you to overhaul your life. It's just asking you to take one actual look, honestly, without flinching, without judgment, and without needing to fix everything the moment that you see it. That's the whole invitation, to take a look. Then take one small, honest step. That's it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. If you did and it resonated for you, please like it and share it with someone that you think it could make a difference in their life for the better. And until next time, bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode and it aligned with your frequency and the goal of living your best life, you can connect with me at harmonicsovereignty.com or debbiesodegren.com. Check out my YouTube channel, Debbie Sodegren. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Harmonic Sovereignty Studio. I invite you to send me your questions or comments or just say hello on social media or email me at debbiesodegren@gmail.com. And remember, a shift in perception is sometimes all it takes for you